On June 19th, we took off from Watson Lake and drove 272 miles up to Whitehorse. This phase of the trip we called the Sprint, which has the objective of getting to the Alaskan border as soon as possible. We spent the night in Whitehorse and on June 20th drove the remaining 277 miles up to Beaver Creek, which is right on the Alaskan border. This segment of the trip was some of the hardest and most beautiful driving that we've seen so far. Adrian,
Yeah.
where's the trailer?
Trailer is like that way south.
I thought you were going to bring the trailer.
No.
Did we forget the trailer?
No, come on.
Here we are
We
at the
walked
Canadian border crossing,
walked.
and we forgot our trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
I guess we really scored, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right, so I thought what we do is give everyone a little bit of an update on what it's like to drive the Alaskan Highway. So, kind of the first thing you have to be ready for on a trip like this is we've gone probably 3,500 miles so far. Tomorrow we'll be in Fairbanks, and we've had a lot of mechanical issues along the way. The first one was the first couple days of our trip was torrential rains, and it flooded our battery box, and it broke the Bluetooth monitor that we use to watch the charge on the battery. So I tried to get it working again. There's no hope for it. The little plug was flooded. That's the way it goes. But we do have the control panel by the door, and that will tell me how well the batteries are charged. I just can't pay any attention to what voltage is going in or what current's going in and what's coming out. So not a big deal, I guess. We're fine. So the other thing is that the toilet stopped holding water. I put a new seal in the toilet before this trip, but I didn't rebuild the whole thing. So now what happens is you have to kind of work with the pedal to pull it up to make sure it closes properly so it'll hold water. But we'll survive.
Yeah.
So the thing that was really scary is when we got ready to leave Watson Lake, I popped out of the camper one morning and I'm starting to hook everything up, and when I went to inflate the airbags on the truck, the remote control didn't work, so I couldn't inflate the airbags. And that means the back of the truck's going to sag while we're driving, and we just had to figure out what to do. Took it down to the mechanic at the campground. They actually had one. He filled it up with a compressor, so we have a manual inflator. But the problem was the minute I started the engine, it dumped all the air, because that was the last thing I told the airbags to do, was dump the air, and they just are stuck in that mode. So we had to drive from Watson Lake up to Whitehorse with a saggy rear end on the truck. But I was able to actually take it all apart. The remote control, I took it all apart, changed the batteries. That didn't do anything. I fiddled with a bunch of the contacts. That seemed to work. Airbags are working again. And then today, on the bumpy roads that we were on, the backup camera on the trailer stopped working, and that's how I can watch traffic behind me. So if I know somebody's coming up behind us and is going to pass us, I know that. So I got out some contact cleaner and sprayed the connection between the trailer and the plugs into the truck, and also sprayed all the connections on the camera, and it started working again. So we're doing pretty well at fixing things as we go along.
Yeah. I'll burn our toes.
Oh yeah.
We'll fix her.
Yeah, no kidding. But you got to do that crap. And every time something breaks, it's a panic for me, especially the airbags and the backup camera.
Why?
Well, just because I depend on those things so heavily for driving. So,
what was it like driving Alcan so far?
well, let's break it into two parts. Let's talk about driving the Alcan Highway up to Whitehorse. Piece of cake. Beautiful roads all the way. even before you get to the Alcan, coming up through Canada, through Banff, into Jasper, on up into Dawson Creek, just a piece of cake. Up to Whitehorse, not a problem at all. The roads are really good, nothing to worry about. So let's talk about from Whitehorse to where we are now, which is Beaver Creek in the Yukon Territory. So coming out of Whitehorse, it's good. The minute you make the right-hand turn onto the Alaskan Highway to head up to Beaver Creek, it starts to get a little bumpy. And there's one patch of gravel road for quite a while. Seemed like we were on it for 15-20 minutes maybe. But it was a smooth gravel road. It wasn't a big deal. So you could drive on it and you could maintain some speed.
And we also started noticing the road signs. So we had a squiggly one that would indicate the rough and uneven pavement. So you knew you had to slow down and you were going to bump along a bit. And then, as we went along, we would see a vertical sign with a lot of horizontal bars. And that meant you were going to go on some gravel road that probably was peppered with, what do you call it? The
washboard surface.
Washboard surfaces.
So that's where things got exciting. Once we got past that first dirt section, the road was lumpy, and there were a couple frost heaves getting into Destruction Bay. Past Destruction Bay, that's where the fun started.
Okay, so Destruction Bay is not actually a bay. So the beautiful long lake that you drive and it follows you for miles, it reminds me of Lake Tahoe. That is Kluane Lake, and the Kluane National Forest. So he hadn't even believing that it was Destruction Bay. But you come onto the city of Destruction Bay and you find out it's because, during one bad storm, a lot of the houses, were demolished. So Destruction Bay is a kind of a interesting side note.
So from Destruction Bay on into Beaver Creek, it was a horrible drive, maybe even beyond horrible.
Yeah, pretty tired.
My truck and the camper are just as dirty as they could possibly be, with mud from them watering down some of the gravel roads.
Dust clouds.
Yeah, just dust and mud and everything. So it was horrible. Yeah. But it was also one of the most beautiful drives we have been on. Snow-capped mountains, big rivers, giant lakes, and wildflower. Yeah, fireweed.
All
my God, it's beautiful.
Borders along the road, so it makes every photo you took just really pop.
Yeah.
So yes, we were going into a boreal wonderland.
Yeah.
We were bumping along inside the cab, just exhausted,
Yeah. So, here we are in the 1202 motel and campground in Beaver Creek. So we're just miles from the U.S. border now, and we will make it to Fairbanks. But today was both breathtaking in a way you can't even imagine, and challenging in a way you can't even imagine.
For a driver.
Yeah. So we actually watched a car try to pass us on the road, and he hit a frost heave, and his back end went airborne. And I'm sure that guy was scared shitless. as he was trying to get control of that car.
Yeah, I would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had some pretty wild frost heaves that we hit today.
So would you say that this deserves its reputation?
Yeah, this is a hard road. This, from Destruction Bay to Beaver Creek, is a hard road. And I hear that going from Beaver Creek into Fairbanks doesn't get any better. So, you know, tomorrow's going to be a long day. We have more miles than we had to drive today, and we've got, yeah, that's why I wanted to get to Beaver Creek and not, you know, I was fine even going farther than this. But, you know,
I don't know what comes after this.
well,
I mean, in terms of being.
he said it doesn't get any better, so.
Okay, well, there you have it.
We'll let you know how it is when we get to Fairbanks tomorrow. So, anyway, so far we have had the most magnificent time. We've done all kinds of exciting things, and you know, anybody that's thinking about doing this trip, just be real with your expectations. It's, you know, towing an RV is an exercise in vehicle repair and maintenance along the road, and driving this last section of the Alaskan Highway takes a lot of vigilance and a lot of care so that you can maintain proper control of your vehicle. But it's beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
All right, I think that's a good place to stop.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Cheers.